You're watching Let's Chat.
Well, it is America Recycles Day, and I'm so glad to have with me in the studio today Cindy Todd with Goodwill Industries of Greater Chattanooga and my new friend Elizabeth Hammond with EPB to talk about a really cool collaboration you're doing on this day with People's Electronics. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And before we get started, let me talk about my dress. This is a Goodwill dress. I love talking about thrifting, so it's funny that you're here today to talk about recycling. Okay, so why is it important to recycle electronic waste?
Well, it is so important, and thank you so much for that question, because there are really so many reasons. I think one of the most important reasons is that it's one of the fastest growing waste streams in America. You mentioned that 53 million ton stat earlier. Well, that ends up being about 16 pounds on average for every American.
Right.
So it's really quite a lot of waste. And the second piece is that when we recycle this waste, we reduce the need for using raw materials for our electronics, which keeps us from doing invasive mining and things like that for different components for our electronics. And then, unfortunately, a lot of the components that go into our electronics may be harmful to human health, to wildlife, to our ecosystems. And so the less that we can put out there, the better off we're all going to be.
Right.
And the good news is that these items are made to be recycled. And so that's why we're so excited at EPB to be partnering with a trusted community advocate and recycler, Goodwill, because you know when you're recycling with Goodwill, everything's going where it's supposed to go.
That's right. So I have a whole stack of electronics in my garage of old computers, old keyboards, and probably items with old batteries in them. What happens when we turn them into Goodwill?
Well, Goodwill takes them, and we do a little bit of sorting, but then we send them to Dell, where they adhere to like the strictest guidelines for how to handle all these things, and they take the parts that they can reuse. What I love about Dell, they have a goal by 2030 for every product they sell, they want to recycle or reuse a product, a similar product. So they're very serious about it, and they're such a trusted partner. Goodwills have been working with them for like 20 years, and over those 20 years, they estimate 600 million pounds have been kept out of the landfills. So you can just feel sure that it's going to be handled properly, and that nothing's going to go into a landfill that's toxic, and that it'll be reused and repurposed to every degree that it can be.
That's awesome, because you could unknowingly turn in something to Goodwill with toxic, rotting batteries in them, with all that battery junk. It's very dangerous. Right? So tell me about EPB. What are they doing with this partnership?
Well, today is a really exciting day. You mentioned it's America Recycles Day, and so we've partnered with Goodwill, and we've got a truck parked right outside our building on Market Street. And so until 6 p.m. today, if you've got any electronics that have been hanging around your house that you'd like to get out, but you want to make sure they're recycled responsibly, Goodwill and EPB are here for you.
That's wonderful. Well, what if I can't make it to this today? What do I do with my electronics, like let's say this weekend?
Well, the good news is that we take those electronics every single day.
Okay.
From 10 to 7. You can drop it off at a Goodwill store or Donation Express, and it'll be handled the same way. It's just so many people like you are such a reduce, reuse, repurposer with Goodwill, and we know clothes and household items, which we gratefully appreciate, because that keeps everything going for Goodwill and keeps our job training and jobs programs in place, which is another benefit, because Dell does pay Goodwill for these parts, and that that money stays in our community and does job training. But you can bring it any day to a Goodwill store. We just need to do some things to raise the awareness that this is something we do, because most people don't think about their electronics in Goodwill.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. So tell us a little bit more about where this drop-off location is one last time, and other locations around the community, or where we can look them up and find them. So the drop-off is on Market Street?
That's right. So right in front of the EPB building, a little bit closer to our parking garage. So right there on Market Street, very close to the intersection with 10th Street, near the EPB parking garage.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Cindy, where can we find locations for local Goodwills?
Our Goodwill has 17 stores within 23 counties, and it's estimated like 70% of the U.S. population lives within 10 minutes of a Goodwill. So they're in Hickson, East Brainerd, East Ridge,
Perfect.
Cleveland, soon to open in Dalton early next year.
Oh, that'll be a good one. I'm already excited.
Yeah, you can go to our website and find other locations.
That's right. Goodwill Chat with 2Ts.org. Like Let's Chat, there's all the information up on the screen about the electronic drop-off today and forevermore at all local Goodwills. Thank you again for coming on. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and what a great way to do that through Goodwill. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you.